Gem Cash community. This is Dalvo coming to you from Miami. I'm finally finished doing this very complex PowerPoint that you will see. And this PowerPoint is gonna finally show to you guys how the circles of responsibilities and spheres of influence generate the passive income that you all have been already making. It's accumulating because lots and lots of people using the day trading platform from the Chinese in Macau and Lisbon and Brazil and Mexico have joined their community, which is a multi-level marketing community, and they're going to be joining us, right? So, and they're already reserved millions of dollars in Gem Cash that needs to be mined and verified in the coming 6 months to a year. And that's all income that you're going to see how you make in the spheres of influence by being team leaders. Now, it's very important that the documentation, this PowerPoint, only be shared with the people who are team members, the 80-something of us right now, soon to be 100, right? We're not going to sell people making money or getting rich or anything, because they're not. The only people who are going to get rich are the first 100 and maybe the next 200 when we eventually grow to a full all the countries on earth, right? So there'll be tops 250 to 300 people getting rich. The rest of the people are enjoying the benefits of the Gem Wallet, the Gem Cash, the Gem Card, the Gem Vaults, and growing their personal wealth and their well-being and their futures and their retirements and their nest eggs. That's what they're going to be benefiting from, and saving a lot of money and having a lot of peace of mind. Okay, so now I'm going to talk quickly, and then I'm going to go back to the 4 sectors that you can make money being part of the Gem Cash community team. Okay, now this is not something we sell to anybody else. This is something we keep internal. All right, so the first thing is the peer-to-peer enterprise, which I'm going to go through in detail to show you how it doesn't matter if you're in a small country, if you're a part of a small city, if you're part of a big continent, a small continent, none of that matters. I've designed this over 4 years to make it very fair and even, almost like communism using capitalism, okay? This is controlled capitalism in a communist way where everybody shares. You keep half of what you make for you and your immediate family, and the other half goes to your extended family, which in our case is all over the world. It's the entire community, okay? So the first sector of income that you can make is passive income from being a continental supervisor, an ambassador, a country manager, or a city leader. And then eventually there'll be people, not us, who will be group organizers. Okay, so the second way is regional field support. Now that involves helping as a country manager to identify diamonds or possibly distribution channels for gem cards, retail distribution for gem vaults or platforms for gem vaults. That also involves the ambassadors bringing our platform, our wallets, our coin, our support, our cash, our gem cards, our gem vaults to corporations, organizations, governments even, okay? That's part of the field support. Both what the ambassadors will do and what supervisors will get involved with, local city people, leaders, and country managers. Okay, that's the regional field support. That's another way that you can make money with us. That's more of an active way, where the peer-to-peer enterprise is a passive way. Okay, the next way is by joining either the staff in New York. We'll have offices in Miami. We'll probably have offices in London, in Hong Kong. Now, you can indirectly get support from that or get involved with that, but then you would have to leave the community and be part of our staff. Or you can send friends or family members. So there'd be opportunities for your family, possibly not for you directly, possibly for you directly, working with Gem Trust as one of our staff support people. The final way is private initiatives. And what I mean by private initiatives is a company that you might set up. Now, ALAS is part of that, right? ALAS, which is you joining, creating your own city company that involves either other members of our community or people that you know, and you create a company, but you get support from me, from my board of founders, from Gem Trust, and also from the entire team, which is going to be 100 and eventually about 200 to 300 people. Okay, so we're going to go into those areas a little further at the end of the presentation. But right now, let's get into the peer-to-peer enterprising and how this works and what we mean by paymium, right? You get everything for free, like Facebook and Google, Gmail, and WhatsApp. But if you use it a lot and you tell your friends, you also make a little bit of money. Now, you guys, the team leaders, you're going to make a lot of money. And I'm going to show you why and how. And it doesn't matter the size of your city, your country, your continent. It doesn't matter how hard you work or how much of a bum you are. As long as you're part of us, you're going to make a lot of money. This is retirement money. This is probably even get rich money. Okay? Very rich. And this is how it works. And this is why it's already working by the Chinese handing out information about us and having over 40,000 people join their platform because we exist as Gem Cash community. All right. So here's a sponsored new member. Now, every member is going to be sponsored, right? You guys are sponsored by the board of founders, the people who you invite, your friends and family, which you don't need to, but that you may invite. They're sponsored by you. And all our 50,000 first members in the first few months of us making the big announcement, they're sponsored by the Chinese platforms, right? In Portugal and Brazil and Mexico, now in South Korea and Japan. But let's say that this sponsor here, we don't know where he is in the world, but he was sponsored by our friend Kita in Hong Kong. All right, Kita's all the way in Hong Kong on the other part of the world, but he knows an emerald dealer who came to Hong Kong for the jewelry show. He told him he empowered him with the Gem Cash community, and this individual decided to sign up and become a member, get a wallet, maybe even buy some Gem Cash. He ordered a Gem card, or maybe he got one for free because he works for somebody and he doesn't really have any money and he's broke. Okay, let's find out. Oh, look at that. He happens to have known Kita in Hong Kong in China, but he actually lives in Bogota. And because he lives in Bogota, he's automatically supporting our city leader in Bogota, Juan. Okay? And because he's in Bogota, that falls under the country manager of Colombia, which is Evans. Okay? So that Bogota and that guy who came from Kita in Hong Kong falls under Evans. And look, and Sebastian, who doesn't even know Kita that well, and has never been to he's been to Hong Kong. He actually gets to benefit from somebody Keitha introduced because he is the South American supervisor that obviously includes Colombia and includes the city of Bogota. So now you start to see how this begins to grow, okay? And these are the circles of responsibility. And we basically only place somebody for the country or region, as in the United States or Mexico or India. And then we place somebody as the continental supervisor, has to live in New York or Miami, so I can be close to them to give them guidance, right? These are the circles of responsibility. The city leader, eventually, is the person in Bogota who has the largest people in his 3 spheres of influence, okay? And it might not be because he knows that many people, but somebody in his spheres of influence, his 3 spheres of influence, which we're going to see next, knows a lot of people, and he became the city leader because he has the largest sphere of influence in the city of Bogota. And so Juan, after a year, would get voted out because the guy with the most members as part of his 3 spheres becomes the city leader for Bogota. So that's how city leaders work, okay? Now let's talk about the spheres of influence. There's only 3 of them. So the first sphere is the people that you immediately know and you bring in. Now, there could be a 1 person, no people, or 1 million people, but they all sit here in your first sphere of influence. Those are the people you support directly. And if you bring just 3, you become a group organizer. All right. And being a group organizer is important because we're going to qualify you then to be a verifier. So you start making money on the network. You've worked for us. You've shared. You've empowered 3 people to get free wallets, to get gem cards, to get possibly secure gem vaults, but definitely buy gem cash. So you've empowered people. They didn't pay anything. They joined for free. They're happy, and you become a group organizer, which means you automatically can register with us and become a verifier on our Gem Cash financial network. Okay, the GemNet. All right, so you become a verifier. And this new sponsor here that came from Keita somewhere over here in Hong Kong, I think that little 0 right there is Hong Kong. Anyway, he only could invite his ex-girlfriend. It's not even his current girlfriend. A relative, a cousin, an aunt, an uncle, a distant relative, and he had one friend at work or at his gym, but he only had one friend. 3 people, and all these 3 people, they only have 3 people. All right, but they comprise his first sphere of influence. Now, the second sphere of influence is who these people bring on board. And these 3 people only know 3 people each, and they're a significant other, a family member, and 1 friend. That's all they know. But because they're 3, multiplied by 3, they got 9. So now this member who only knew 3 people now has 3 plus 9, that's 12. Okay, now we're going to isolate one of these people and figure out where they're from. Remember, he was introduced by Keita from Hong Kong, but he's really from Bogota, Colombia. Now these people here, his girlfriend might have moved to New York. His cousin is from France, because they have a little French connection in their family. And his best friend is at the gym, but the best friend moved to, I don't know, Brazil or India, who knows, right? So these people here could be from anywhere. Let's find out where this one person out of this 9, where he's from, or she. Oh, look at that. They're from Miami, Florida, which means they're helping George out, Bruce, who's the regional manager for Florida, and Megan, who's the continental supervisor for the U.S. Now, certain countries we consider continental areas, right? Mexico, because it's very large, Brazil, the United States, Canada, Russia, India, China. So those countries we're going to consider continental areas because it's vast spaces, and the continental supervisors or the ambassadors have to fly around there. So we're trying to keep it a little bit closer to space and not make it so giant as some of our continents are. In Africa, for instance, we split into 4 because it's so large, and we need Sam and Hugo and I can't remember everybody's name right now. Godfried, traveling around there. So we split that up into 4, right? Okay, so Keita in Hong Kong introduced a member in Bogota that benefited Juan. That's going to be benefiting Juan. I'm going to show you Evans and Sebastian. And now, because his friends and relatives have brought these 9 people, one of these 9 people live in the United States, which happens to live in Miami to support, to give passive income to George and Bruce and Megan. Okay, so now you start seeing. Now the third sphere of influence brings this number, which is 12, for this one sponsor who only really knows 3 people, and they're close, almost family members. They each bring 3. And again, they only know a best friend, a relative, and a significant other, right? But this guy's sphere of influence grew to 27 just by bringing these 3 people in. Now imagine if he could bring in 300. Okay, and remember, not selling vitamins. They don't have to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars. They don't have to invest in anything. They don't have to bring anybody on board. They can just take advantage of our free wallets, of our vaults, of our card, of our community support. It's very easy. They just have to share the vision and have the belief in a financial system that isn't controlled by the government, that the monies that isn't held by banks, and payments that isn't interfered with by third parties like PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, and Western Union. That's what they need to believe in. A future where you work for your money and your money goes up in value, not down in value. A future where you could save money for your old age, for your kids, for a business, because the money isn't losing value, and next year it's worth 5 or 10% less. In some countries, 20 or 30% less. In the United States, 3 to 5% less every year. You don't have to worry about that. That's all they have to believe in, okay? And that's what we're bringing to them. We're not selling anything. We're empowering people with our vision, and we're getting them to believe in what we believe in, right? The why of why we're doing this. Now, I know there's some money grubbers out there, and everybody needs money, okay? But everybody doesn't need to get rich. But you guys are getting rich, and we're never showing this to these people. Let them find out through osmosis, through anti-social media, Facebook, or whatever. We will never admit that this is how we do things. And we're never going to show them this chart. We're never going to show them this. They're just going to get, $20, $50, $100 at the end of the month in their wallet, and they're going to be told that this is being shared through the community, that it's because they helped us bring people. So these GemCash coins have been generated by the network, and they're getting their share of it, okay? That's all they're being told. And they're told that they're sharing part of their share with others, okay? It's like communism working with capitalism in a beautiful way. And we can do all this because of the diamonds, okay? So the Board of Founders puts 20% of our earnings back into the network to keep growing the network. And we don't do it because we're so Mother Teresa-like. We do it because it's good business. Okay, this is premium. Like WhatsApp and Google and Facebook have freemium, where it's free to join, but then if you want additional things, you have to pay. We have Paymium, where it's free to join, but if you contribute and you get involved more, you actually get paid. And you can get involved by introducing the vision to others, empowering others, or you can get involved by buying GemCash and having it in your wallet and keeping it for yourself, but becoming a miner. Okay? Those are the ways. Now we're going to take one of these individuals in the third sphere of influence from this member here, who was sponsored by Kita in Hong Kong, who lives in Bogota, but has brought people from all over the world, including this member here, who's in Miami, Florida, the United States. And we're going to find this third sphere member. Now the spheres only grow to this, okay? And this individual here, male or female, oh, look at that, they live in Berlin, okay? I wish I could say I am a Berliner now, like John F. Kennedy, and sound cool, but I don't want to screw up the German language. The language of my grandfather, who was born in Frankfurt, by the way. But now Kita, who benefited Juan, Evans, and Sebastian, and benefit George in Miami, Bruce in Florida, and Megan in the United States, is now benefiting Tobias in Berlin, and also Harold in Germany, and finally Ingrid in the Eurozone. Okay? Now you see how it doesn't matter how big your country, how big your continent, how big your group of friends in your sphere of influence. That's now you see why you, the first 100 team leaders, do not need to advertise or market. This is happening already. 40,000 people who don't know that this is going to be the way that they're going to be treated, that they're going to be paid in addition. They're just greedy for GemCash that they believe, as we do, is going to go skyrocket in value. Those are the people who are creating this whole thing for you already. That's why I said no selling, no investing, no marketing, because you're making money. All right. Now let's talk about the passive income that happens on this network. Okay. And there are 4 specific things that generate GemCash that will be funneled automatically every day into your gem wallets once we get active and mining and verifying in the next few months. The first one is income from mining. Now, to become a miner, what you're going to do first, the first miners are going to be you guys to train and practice, and also the individuals that joined us from the Chinese day trading platform where they're buying and selling Bitcoin. Those who have invested most into GemCash, they become our miners. They're usually going to be people who have between $1 and $5 or $10,000 in gem cash, and they've bought in early, so they deserve to make the early money as miners. But no matter who they are and where they are on the planet, all of you 100 team leaders are going to get paid from them, and already have made virtual gem cash from them because they're already joining and putting money aside for gem cash. Okay. The second is the verification of transactions. So every time money moves between gem cards or between gem wallets or between gem wallets and gem cards, that gem cash, that currency has to get verified to make sure it's legitimate, it's not being double spent, and all different things. And this verification happens automatically when your computer's on. Now, who gets to be the verifiers? Those who want to reveal who they are and where they live, those who want to participate by bringing at least 3 people on board. You bring 3 people, you're a verifier. You want to have an anonymous wallet, an anonymous gem card, an anonymous gem cash? Well, you can't be a verifier. But if you want to be transparent and you don't want to be cloaked in mystery, you can be a verifier, okay? And you will earn verification. It's going to be about 2 to 3% of all the transactions you verify. You'll get to keep some gem cash, not from those transactions, not from two individuals sending each other money or the 2 companies sending each other gem cash. You're making that from reserves that are built into the network that accumulate gem cash to distribute via the network for verifiers and for miners. And by being a city, country manager, or continental supervisor, you get a portion of that, which I'm going to show next. Okay. Then there are fees generated by debit card transactions and at stores and ATM. Now, these are not fees that we, the board of directors at Gem Trust, keep. These are fees that people have decided to leave the GemNet financial network and go into Visa or MasterCard, go into banks, go into governments, go into fiat currency for whatever their needs are. Okay? And they decided to leave our world into the old world. The moment they do that, banks, ATMs, governments, corporations, they charge. And we're going to add a little bit to that charge, because since you want to go there and you're willing to pay them, well, you need to pay our network as well. But the founders won't keep that money. That money will be distributed amongst the network, and those who benefit most from that, of course, are city leaders, country managers, and continental supervisors. Of course, the group, the sponsor also benefits, and the group organizers also benefit, right? And finally, we're going to allow people to do day trading with Gem Cash on the Chinese platform. Just like they're bringing thousands to us, we're going to be millions to them. But when you go over there, that's gambling. That's you taking a chance with your Gem Cash. That's you playing the roulette. That's you being a day trader. If you want to be a day trader, you're going to have to pay them for their software and their support and their bots that do the day trading. Well, you're going to pay them, you're going to pay us too. Because now you're a greedy money grubber. And we know about money grubbers, and that's cool. You could be a money grubber. You want to grub money and you want to hold it and you want to be rich and you want to do that, that's fine. Well, you're going to pay us too. Because we're the believers. You could be a believer and a money grubber, but if you are, you're going to pay us. If you're going to pay them, you're going to pay us. So these are the 4 areas that generate income across these 6 spheres and circles of influence, right? So now we're going to go into it so you can see how it happens. So this is how sharing Gem Cash coin earnings across our financial network functions, okay? So here's the 3rd sphere member. He earns 100 Gem Cash. Let's just say for argument's sake, it's $1 a Gem Cash, and he earned it over the course of a whole year. Chances are he's making this monthly or weekly or a little bit more, depending on how excited, how much he sees the vision, and how many people he empowers. But let's say he only made 100 Gem Cash coins, and they're only worth $1 for argument's sake and to keep the math easy across a whole year. Because I want to show you how Sebastian here gets rich from a guy that Keith in Hong Kong introduced him in Bogota from a guy he never met, all the way down in Berlin, how he gets rich from that guy. And all that guy made was $100 at the end of a whole year on our network. Now, chances are people are going to make a little bit more than that, a little bit less than that. Some people make just, $5 or $10 or $20 a year, but when there's millions of people, it doesn't matter, okay? So let's just do this. He's earned $100 worth of gem cash over the course of a year for mining or verifying or any of the other things that I've already spoken about, okay? And boom, there's the 100 cash. Now, what did it cost him to do this? He empowered friends and family. It cost them nothing. It cost him nothing. He's saving money in bank fees. His money is going up in value. He's not under the control of his government. He's probably dodging some taxes. If I know these guys in Berlin, German taxes are very high. And he's got all this opportunity. He might have even started a gem cash or gem card or gem vault business, okay? He might even be using our free gem wallets as part of his business. Now, so he's saving money, he's empowered, he might be getting rich, he's definitely saving for his future. He's comfortable, he's happy, and it costs him nothing because it costs no computer power like in Bitcoin, and it costs no electric power like in Bitcoin, and it costs no knowledge like in Bitcoin to mine or verify. All it cost him is to have the vision and have been introduced to this opportunity, okay? So because it cost him nothing, and because we're a communist community, we split that 100, and he gets 50 of the 100. The other 50, and the ratio's not going to be 50-50, it's going to be more like 70-30 there. He gets half, but what's left is going to be split in half to make it simple for this example. But it's not going to be split half. We're gonna change the ratios a little bit so it's fairer for the people all the way down here than the people over here. So we're gonna change those ratios, but right now it's always gonna be in half. So you see how the heck Sebastian gets rich from a guy that was introduced by Kita that lives in Bogota, okay? And now a guy that's really in Berlin that he's never gonna meet and never met, all right? So that guy made 50, half of his 100, and the other 50, well, that is going to be shared with the immediate circle of responsibility, okay? That's going to be shared with the immediate circle of responsibility. There's 25 and 25. So the first 25 coins is shared with Berlin, Tobias, all right? As the other 25 sits there. Okay, now this happens instantly on our network, and it happens very quickly, so you don't have to track any of this. This is happening on our blockchain, and it's already programmed in. But Tobias has to keep half and share the other half. So 1250 goes to Tobias, and the other 1250 goes to Germany, to Harold, okay? But since we keep sharing, that 1250 gets split in half. And the country manager Gerald keeps half, and the other half is sent further up the chain to the continental circle, which is the supervisor Ingrid, and Ingrid keeps the other half. Okay, so now you saw how this guy here from Berlin that was introduced by a guy from Bogota, that was introduced by somebody from Miami, that was originally introduced by Keitha from Hong Kong, has benefited Ingrid, Harold, Tobias, and the member. Now, this member was introduced by somebody here in the second sphere. He's in the third sphere, right? So now we're going to talk about the sponsoring member spheres. That's the sponsored member, and his spheres are 1, 2, and 3. And this guy here has left behind 25 gem cash coins worth $1 each in our example that he's going to now send to the second sphere. But when it arrives in the third sphere's members 25 coins is shared with his immediate sponsor. So somebody here sponsored him, and that 25 that's left over gets sent over here, right? But it has to get split. Remember, it always gets split because nobody spent any time, any money, any energy, or any knowledge earning the money. So they keep half. Boom, that half is kept by the member who referred him, and the other half is moved to the first sphere. That half then gets split in half again. The first sphere person member who introduced the second sphere member who introduced this member in the third sphere gets to keep 625 worth of gem cash, and the other is sent to the original sponsor who came from Kita, right? Now, Kita is also benefiting from this original sponsor's income at the end of the week, at the end of the day, at the end of the month, and at the end of the year, whenever we do the accounting, which is probably going to happen daily. But that sponsor just made money from somebody he never met, okay? Now, those coins get split in half to 3 and 12. 312 of gem cash, and he gets to keep 312 in gem cash, and the other 312 gets moved on to the original sponsor's circle of responsibility. Here's the original sponsor, and here are the 3 circles of responsibility, his immediate, because he's getting support from these people, just like he's getting support from these people, just like he's getting support from these people, right? So our team members have to get compensated. So that coin gets split in half again. Juan, now we start with the far circle of responsibility. Juan gets to keep half of it. The other half goes to Evans. Evans didn't do anything for that $1.56 worth of gem cash. So that now gets split into 78 and 78. Evans keeps 78 cents worth of gem cash, and Sebastian keeps the other 78 cents worth of gem cash, which came all the way from this member in Berlin. Okay, now Sebastian just got 78 cents worth of gem cash in our example here. Now, this is a silly example. These people only had 3 freaking friends, and this guy only made $100 over the course of a year. But how does Sebastian become a millionaire with 78 cents? That doesn't make any sense, Dalvo. Well, if you can quickly see how these people didn't have to pay for anything, this spheres grows into millions of people right away. Let's say in 2 or 3 years, Sebastian is only has in his extended circles of responsibility and spheres of influence from being the continental supervisor, 1 million people, and they're only sending 78 cents. You do the math. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. Now, this is happening all over the place. And eventually, it's millions of people under you. And this is just the passive income. Imagine now the active incomes and the private initiatives and the support of the network with the Gem Trust. It can grow very, very large, okay? So I hope you understood how this works. Now, the percentages are going to change. We're not going to give half down here. We're going to probably change this percentage to half goes to the original member. The other half gets split 30-70. 30 goes down here and 70 goes across here to make it fairer, okay? So that's our idea, just to keep making it fairer. But now I've explained to you why you're all already getting rich, because this is already programmed into our blockchain, and dozens of thousands of people have already been introduced to this vision, this opportunity, okay? And those day traders of Bitcoin are already buying Gem Cash, all right? So now I want to review the 4 sectors that you can generate income. Once again, peer-to-peer enterprising, generate what we call paymium, where you get in for free and you get paid for participating more and more. And none of the people that you empower with our vision and our belief system have to pay anything. So this should grow very, very quickly because they save money and they make a little money and they feel secure. The second area is field support. the ambassadors going to corporations, individuals, and governments and generating more, the city leaders and the country managers with GemQuest, country managers introducing us to diamonds, retail opportunities with Gem Card and Gem Vaults, and all those opportunities. Then there's joining our staff or supporting our staff in the different offices throughout the world. And finally, there's the private initiatives that could be Alas Network, a company in the Alas network of companies, or it could be your own private initiative. Megan had an idea of helping people pay their taxes by giving them software that she would charge for monthly or yearly or however if they make money in Gem Cash. Bill had an idea of micropayments for a television network that wants to have people get paid for watching advertising. Nimba had an idea to create a facility for foreign governments to invest in Africa by using Gem Cash and tracking so that the corrupt officials don't keep the money that's been donated for construction or housing or food aid. One final project is a project that I thought of with Ingrid to help the poor. So there are many other projects that can be launched, not by making money with the wallet or the card or the cash, but by making money by supporting people who want to use the wallet, the card, and the cash and the vaults. Okay, so those are the private initiatives. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope you ask a lot of questions. This was the peer-to-peer enterprising payment system. And I'm sorry it took so long, but here it is. And I'm available for questions whenever you have any. Okay, thank you.